What's up YouTube? It's Super Indo here and I'm back with another Dark and Darker video. And yes, this video is part of my Dark and Darker Discord series where I take the most talked about topics or the most upvoted suggestions from the Dark and Darker Discord and I bring them to YouTube. And today we will be talking about the Cleric class. And what you could expect in this video is, you know, pretty much what the Dark and Darker Discord community would like to see done to the Cleric class as far as quality of life is concerned, and also talents, perks, and gear wise. So with no further ado, let's talk about it. All right, so first things first, let's talk about the quality of life suggestions that were mostly brought up or upvoted in the Dark and Darker Discord community. The first one being able, and I feel like if clerics, if this ever got implemented for the clerics, this would get implemented for the wizard. But the first point, be able to bind individual spells from the spell book to individual keys on the keyboard. So this is a very simple one. They just don't want the spell wheel anymore. They just want to be able to push a hotkey and then it would proc a spell to be casted. The second point, and then the second point, 2A, I guess, I felt like they were similar, so I kind of combined them. So when casting spells on teammates or enemies, to outline them when targeted. So when targeting a teammate, they might be outlined in green. When targeting a enemy, they might be outlined in red. And the sub point, this was also a very common suggestion that was brought up, was many people only want teammates to be targetable for healing and buff spells. This part I don't necessarily agree with. I feel like this would take away from the hardcore aspect of the game, but it would also bring the skill ceiling down for clerics in general. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Number 3, I totally agree with this. I think assists and heals should exist and grant experience, and this isn't just for clerics. I think this should be for like, for every class. Let's just say, for example, a ranger shoots somebody with an arrow, then one of their teammates follows up and kills that person. I think the ranger should get a assist and also XP for that. And this goes the same way for the cleric. If the cleric buffs a barbarian and the barbarian goes in there and kills 2 people or team wipes them, then the cleric should get assist or credit for those kills. So now moving into the cleric gear and talent / perk suggestions that were mostly brought up in the Dark and Darker Discord community. This first one I think is broken, but once again, let me know what you think about this in the comments. Make the cleanse spell work as a offensive spell to clear all buffs on enemies and allies. I think this would immediately make them S tier. It would make them a must-to-have in any team comp if this ever got implemented. And this was one of the top, this is one of the most upvoted suggestions in the Discord. For me, for this not to be broken, if this ever did get somehow implemented in the game, maybe not all buffs, I think it should just be one random buff. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Number 2, a perk for clerics where praying at a shrine restores 20% of their spell charge on all spells. I don't really, I mean, if that perk was ever created, I'd be okay with it. I just think it wouldn't be utilized as much. Number 3, and this is one I do agree with, clerics should not have to switch / use a staff to cast their spells. It's to me, it takes them out of combat way too much. I feel like it doesn't let them play the game enough. Just for me speaking. And a good example with this is in D&D, and that's kind of where the devs are pulling a lot of their stuff from. In D&D, clerics were oftentimes able to have holy items with them, and oftentimes their shield would be a holy item that they could actually cast their spells through. So, it would be cool if they potentially added like a holy shield that allowed you to do that. That was very similar to like the spell book. I think that would be pretty dope, and I think a lot of clerics would actually be open to that change. I just think it's pointless for them to switch back to a staff to cast their spells. That's just me. And number 4, I I guess, you know, add a chain flail to the cleric's arsenal. I am not against adding more weapons to the game. I'm not a fan of the chain flail. I just remember, I think in high school I had this history report where I read that the chain flail was like one of the worst weapon designs ever, because even though they did a lot of damage, oftentimes they were unbalanced and they would cause collateral damage to everyone around, including the person wielding the weapon. But hey, if they want a chain flail, then give it to them. So yeah, so those were the most upvoted or the most talked about topics in the Dark and Darker Discord when it came to the cleric. So let's move on to the end of the video. All right, so we just came to another end to another Dark and Darker video. I just want to first thank everyone out there for lending me the windows of their soul, or windows to their soul, for the last 5, maybe 6 minutes. And as always, guys and gals, I appreciate all the support that I've gotten over the past few weeks as far as views, likes, and subscriptions go. None of that is taken for granted. It really means a lot to me. So if you guys have not yet subscribed and you guys like the content, please do so. With that being said, guys, tell a loved one that you love them, and just remember, enjoy each day. Super Indo out.